Imagine a country rich in gold, fuel, and resources, yet its people live in poverty. For decades, this was the reality of Burkina Faso. Wealth left the country quietly, legally, and consistently, while ordinary citizens struggled. But in 2023, a bold decision changed everything. Today, I will explain how Burkina Faso took control of its economy, reclaimed its resources, and began redefining sovereignty in Africa. I want to be clear from the start, what we did was not symbolic. It was not for applause or emotion, it was a necessary correction. For more than 50 years, Burkina Faso was told that poverty was our fate, that dependence on others was normal, and that survival required obedience. Meanwhile, our gold was extracted, our fuel exported, and our money quietly returned to Europe under agreements signed long before most of us were born. I asked one simple question: why does Burkina Faso produce wealth but never control it? A careful review revealed treaties that protected foreign companies more than Burkinabe's citizens, tax systems designed to drain value while appearing legal, and profits leaving the country while our soldiers fought terrorism with limited resources. Our people paid higher prices for food and fuel, yet the revenue never benefited the nation. The lesson became clear: you cannot fight insecurity while your economy is occupied. You cannot claim sovereignty while your revenue is outsourced. We acted decisively. We did not beg. We did not threaten. We did not wait for approval. We terminated agreements that no longer served our people. We reclaimed the right to tax our resources. We took control over energy distribution, which had become another channel for wealth leaving our country. Some called our actions an economic bomb. I call it economic truth. When a nation decides that its wealth should serve its people, those who benefited from the old system see it as dangerous. What they fear is precedent. This is not just Burkina Faso's story, it is the beginning of a new African conversation. Before reform can be discussed, people must understand the trap. Burkina Faso did not wake up poor by accident. Our poverty was managed, documented, legalized, and protected through agreements that looked technical but functioned as control. One such agreement was the double taxation treaty signed in the 1960s. On paper, it was cooperation. In reality, it was a shield for foreign companies, especially French firms, allowing them to operate in Burkina Faso while paying minimal or no taxes here. They extracted gold, distributed fuel, moved profits abroad, and paid far less than a sovereign nation would consider fair. This treaty remained in place for decades not because it helped us, but because it helped others. Every year, wealth quietly left our country. Every year, we were told to tighten our belts, accept aid, depend on loans, and wait. I refused to wait. When we reviewed the treaty, one fact became impossible to ignore: Burkina Faso was producing value but surrendering revenue. Our soil was rich, yet our budget remained fragile. Our soldiers defended the nation, but the nation was denied the full benefit of its own resources. So, in February 2023, we terminated the agreement not out of anger but out of responsibility. Ending the double taxation treaty meant that companies operating in Burkina Faso would finally pay taxes under Burkinabe law. No more legal loopholes, no more special treatment based on historical agreements. Gold extracted from our land would now contribute directly to the national budget. Fuel sold to our people would finally support the state. The impact was immediate. Revenue that once disappeared began accumulating at home. This money did not go into speeches or ceremonies. It went into security, logistics, and strengthening our fight against terrorism. Some warned that this would scare investors. What it actually scared was exploitation. Any partner who fears fair taxation is not a partner, they are a beneficiary of imbalance. Burkina Faso is no longer willing to finance its own weakness. Our decision was not about rejecting cooperation, it was about redefining it. After ending the treaty, we could finally see the flow of money, not promises, not speeches, the real numbers. For years, mining was called our backbone, gold our blessing. Yet, the more we produced, the more dependent we became. Mining profits left Burkina Faso faster than they entered our economy. Complex structures, exemptions, and accounting systems allowed major companies to extract enormous value while contributing only a fraction of what they should. This was legal under the old system, which made it dangerous. It created legalized imbalance. Once the treaty was removed, the system began to collapse. Companies now had to fully comply with our tax laws. Royalties, corporate taxes, operational fees all became unavoidable. Revenue increased, not in theory, but in reality. Hundreds of millions of dollars that had bypassed our treasury began staying in Burkina Faso. This was not money from debt or foreign aid. It was our own wealth redirected back to our people. We made clear decisions about how to use it. First, security. A country cannot develop if its territory is under threat. Our soldiers need equipment, logistics, and consistent support. Second, stability. An economy under attack cannot rely on external approval. Redirected revenue strengthened our planning, payments, and operations without borrowing or begging. Criticism grew. Some European voices called our actions reckless. Others warned of isolation. What they did not say was that they were losing access, leverage, and control over systems they had long managed. Let me be clear. We are not anti-investment. We are anti-extraction without responsibility. Burkina Faso welcomes partners who respect our laws, people, and sovereignty. But we will no longer accept arrangements where Burkina Faso takes the risk and others take the reward. Once the money stopped leaving, the truth became visible. Burkina Faso was never poor, it was drained. Mining was not the only sector bleeding our economy, energy was another. Fuel touches transport, food prices, security, and daily life. Yet for years, fuel distribution favored foreign profit over national stability. Foreign companies controlled storage, distribution, branding, and pricing influence, while social pressure and higher costs fell on our people. This imbalance was treated as normal. I rejected it. Energy is not just a commodity. It is strategic. No country can claim sovereignty while its fuel system exports profits and imports vulnerability. We acted. Fuel depots and distribution operations long under foreign ownership were transferred into national hands and rebranded under Burkina Faso control. Operations continued, workers stayed, supply chains remained. What changed was direction. Profits began circulating inside the country. This was not a spectacle, it was resilience. Fuel revenues now support domestic priorities. Pricing decisions serve the nation, not distant boardrooms. Strategic reserves are managed with security in mind, not quarterly reports. Predictably, foreign media called it chaos. Others predicted collapse. But nothing collapsed, fuel continued moving. The only thing that disappeared was automatic profit extraction. This proved the system was never sustainable, it was dependent. We built control without disruption, continuity without submission. This is the difference between economic management and economic liberation. We did not seize energy to punish anyone. We reclaimed it to protect ourselves. No nation should have to choose between sovereignty and survival. Energy must serve the country before shareholders. This step completed what the tax decision began. Revenue, security, and strategy aligned. When these elements align, a country becomes harder to manipulate. The reaction from France was not confusion, it was alarm. Burkina Faso's actions challenged a system that had survived for decades because no one openly confronted it. That system relied on predictability, quiet agreements, and leaders who complained privately but complied publicly. Once we broke that pattern, the rules changed. France did not lose influence because of one decree, they lost influence because the illusion collapsed. The illusion that control could be maintained through technical agreements while calling it partnership. Ending the taxation treaty removed legal cover. Reclaiming energy assets removed operational control. Together, these moves sent an unmistakable message. Africa is no longer asking permission to manage its own economy. That message is dangerous to those who built power on dependency because it spreads. Other countries are now asking the same questions we asked. 1. Why are our resources extracted under old rules? 2. Why are profits protected abroad while budgets struggle? 3. Why do we inherit systems designed for another era? Pressure increased. Burkina Faso was called unstable. Our leadership questioned. Concerns about democracy resurfaced from those who ignored decades of economic injustice. The pattern is clear. Obey quietly. You are responsible. Assert independence. You are risky, but risky for whom? The real danger was continuing a system where the economy served external comfort while the people bore the cost. That was the real instability. Our actions brought clarity. Sovereignty is not negotiable, our laws apply to all, and our future will not be managed abroad. This forced a recalculation. France could no longer assume automatic access or alignment. Independence always feels like loss to those who once controlled the terms. Burkina Faso did not act alone. The struggle is regional. The Sahel faces similar pressures and extraction patterns. Unity became essential. The alliance of Sahel states was formed not symbolic but practical. Security cooperation, economic coordination, and refusal to accept unfair systems. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger together are stronger militarily and economically. When we redirect revenue, manage energy, and refuse unfair agreements, knowing neighbors do the same, vulnerability decreases and resilience increases. The Sahel is no longer fragmented terrain for external competition. Some call this alliance rebellion, others call it alignment with new powers. Neither is true. We are aligned with sovereignty. We cooperate with nations respecting independence, food security, infrastructure, trade. Partnerships are based on mutual interest, not obedience. We are not replacing one master with another. We are ending the idea that Africa needs a master. This resonates across Africa and the diaspora. People see that resistance does not cause chaos. Control can be reclaimed without collapse. Dignity can be restored through policy, not slogans. Our people understand the cost of weakness and why firm decisions matter. Half measures trap countries between dependence and instability. The Sahel is choosing a new path. Once countries stand together, external pressure loses its sharpest tool, division. Once old systems are broken, the next challenge is clarity. Who will we work with? Who will we trust? Who replaces those who lost access? Misunderstanding arises. We are not searching for replacements, we are redefining partnership. Partnership used to disguise hierarchy. Decisions were made elsewhere. Conditions attached quietly. Support came with expected obedience. That model produced dependency, not development. Burkina Faso does not close doors, we open them on different terms. We cooperate with countries respecting our laws and priorities on food security, energy security, and infrastructure. These relationships are based on mutual benefit, not inherited privilege. Grain, technology, or security support comes transparently, with no secret clauses, no permanent control, no disguised financial traps. The objective is capacity, not substitution. This unsettles those used to automatic influence. Independence does not mean isolation, it means choice. We choose partners who treat Burkina Faso as equal. We refuse arrangements. Weakening autonomy, young people must understand. The future cannot rely on one external axis. It must be diversified, resilient, and grounded in national interest. To the African diaspora, this is not rebellion, it is correction. We are not turning from the world, but toward ourselves first. A nation that does not prioritize its people cannot negotiate honestly. Every decision answers one question: does this strengthen Burkina Faso's independence? If not, we do not proceed. Change does not begin with applause, it begins with decisions that make others uncomfortable. The line has been drawn, and this time it is not written in Paris.